country. He didn't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it. A graduate of Cardinal Mooney High School, my alma mater. Coach John Peacock has built the program into a powerhouse with a career record of 192 and 47, 3 state championships, plus 1 as an assistant under Dick Coleman, 11 district championships, and an amazing 18 straight playoff appearances. Venice High football coach John Peacock.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Taggart, for doing this. You know, I think this is one thing. I'm a big advocate of promoting the sport of football at all levels, and you know, obviously the youth. What Coach Taggart said earlier is you guys are developing these kids for us in high school, and we're doing the same thing, sending those kids off to college. But you guys, hats off to you guys. You do this for free. You do this on your own time. You have to have other jobs. And before I get going, if there's, you know, I'm just going to talk about practice and a few other things here tonight. But I'm going to leave my card out there at the table where you guys checked in. And if you ever want to come by, watch practice, if you want to come by and sit and talk with any of our coaches, whether it be a defensive coach, offensive coach, you guys are all more than welcome. Okay, you guys are all more than welcome to everything that we do. And any questions that you may have, it might be you can just call me or whatever. I'll put my card out there. I'm an open book for you guys. Like I said, I'm a very, very big advocate of promoting the sport of football and promoting coaches at all levels. So anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate to ask or hesitate to reach out. So just to start off, the first thing our players see when they enter our locker room or our weight room is tough love. I think Tommy talked about this before. You know, coaching tough, and so tough love is in effect here. Will not accept you as you are. Instead, we'll give you a vision of what you could be and help you get there. You know, coaching tough and tough love is a little different. You know, in my opinion, you know, we're gonna coach these kids hard at our program, and you know, at the end of the day, when they leave the football facility, we're gonna also put our arm around their neck, make sure they know we love them as well. But I think the big thing on the bottom is accountability, and one thing that I see from, you know, kids coming up to high school is you get these kids that are stars and Pop Warner. And some of them have not been held accountable, to be on time, have not been held accountable to do what everyone else is supposed to be doing. And in any business, whether you're at McDonald's or you're at a big time Fortune 500 company, you can't let things slide. If you're letting things slide and you think you're helping yourself or helping your team, you are not. At the end of the day, it's going to show up at some point. So, you know, I always take time to hold our best players accountable at the highest standard, and you know, you just can't do that off day one. You have to build a relationship. You have to build some trust there, because not all kids are going to trust you right away. So I try to do that in the off season and build a little bit of trust with them. So when it's time, when it's football time, you know, when I get on their ass, they know, hey, you know, I know Coach Peacock loves me. I know he just wants the best for me. So it takes some time, but I think it's very, very important to hold them accountable and hold them to your standard, because whatever your standard is and whatever you hold your best player to, that's what you set for the whole team. That's what you set for the whole team. So I'm going to talk about running an effective and productive practice. And this is kind of the way we do it, and kind of how we got there today. And I think Coach Canan said earlier he ran his practice was the shortest in the state of Florida, and he's definitely wrong on that, because we are definitely shorter, I promise you. So it took me a while to get there, and kind of how I got there was actually a phone call that I made to Coach Canan. You know, I took over in 2007, and we kept getting our ass beat in the first or second round. Now, we were playing some good teams, and usually it was Coach Canan for 4 years in a row. And then, you know, Armwood and, you know, some other really good teams that knocked us out early. So, you know, I called Coach Canan, and I said, man, what can I do? You know, I just feel like we play really well, and we get in the playoffs, and we kind of don't, we beat some teams we're not supposed to beat in the regular season, but when the playoffs come, we just couldn't get over that hump. And one of his advices was, shorten practice. You've been running cover 3 for 14 weeks. If they don't know how to do that now, you're in trouble anyway. So that's pre-2016. And another thing, they're not lying about Coach Canam. He will sit down and talk ball with you. I had him come out. I'm not even sure what year it was. And I just said, Coach, can you just come to our practice and just critique me and tell me what you would change and what I'm doing wrong and how you can help me. And he came out and critiqued me and told me what he would change and what he would do. And so he will spend that time with you. And I'm willing to do that as well with you guys. I obviously don't know as much as Coach Canam, but maybe someday I will be a little better. But we're working on it, right? So, my thing didn't show up. Well, the words aren't showing up. Well, anyway. Huh? All right. Nope. All right, well, the words aren't showing up. I don't remember, but okay, well, past 2016, so we changed how we practice in 2016. We went from going 2.5 hours a day and spending all this time and practice with those kids on their feet and working their butts off. And it was just kind of like the old school mentality of like, hey, we're going to work. And then 2017, I kind of changed everything. Or 2016, I changed everything. And we stretch at 2:45, and we're off the field by 4:10 max. And that's every day. Our offense is as simple as it can be. Everyone we play knows that we're running, knows when we're going to run it. We have 3 run plays, and that's it. We do have a 4th run play, but we don't use it quite enough. But 3 run plays, very, very simple. They're all gap schemes. But we're good at it. I say we're pretty good at what we do, and we don't do a whole lot. Before that, I was running I formation. There was probably 15, 16 run plays we had. And you go back throughout the season, you're looking like, oh damn, I ran midline 17 times, but we practiced it for God knows how long during the season. So we kind of changed everything as far as that goes. So how we structure practice is, about 2:30 we have pre-practice where we have punters catching balls and they haven't stretched yet, and we have receivers catching balls. We have the center giving snaps to the quarterback. The O-line is doing a walkthrough every single day. They are doing a walkthrough on what we were going to run every single day before practice. The D-line is doing hand combat with the other D-line. The linebackers are going through their drops and their reads before practice. At 2:45, the whistle blows, and we do a dynamic stretch. What I mean by dynamic stretch is we're in lines, we'll do a stretch, and we'll do a form run type deal where we're also getting a stretch in as well. At that time, we're working on making sure their arms are proper and they're doing stuff for linear speed. But that pays off throughout the year. You continue to stay on them and you continue to work those things. That'll pay off at the end of the year. And then as soon as we're done with stretch, which is 10 minutes, usually 8 to 10 minutes, we get into what we do, team pass. And it's ones versus ones, team pass. The starting D-line and starting defense versus our starting offense. We run about 4 to 6 plays. Everything is scripted. I call nothing from the hip on practice. Everything is scripted. So we do 6 plays real quick, and then we get right into 7-on-7, our team pass. And that lasts for 15 minutes, and we run 16 plays. Okay, 16 plays, and it lasts 15 minutes. Actually, it's not. It's more or less 26 plays. The twos get some reps too. But so we run about 26 plays total. The ones will run 15, 16 plays, and that's it. 15 plays, we're gone, and they're right into inside run. Okay, inside run. Again, we're running about 16 to 18 plays with the starters. And then as soon as that's done, we get right into special teams where we do punt every single day. Every single day we do punt, and then one of those days on Tuesday we'll do kickoff return. On Wednesday we'll do kickoff, and then Thursday we'll do all of it. Thursday's a little bit different practice. And then after we do special teams, we do our team offense, team defense, and it's 20 plays. We script our first 20 plays of the game, and those are the 20 plays we run on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're running those 4 days in a row that are scripted. One thing that we never have anybody that is standing around on the sideline. If I look around, I see a guy that's playing a position that's standing around on the sideline, I go to that position coach and say, Coach, you know, we probably need to send that kid down to JV because he's doing us no good sitting there on the sideline. We never have anybody sitting, somebody's always active. And again, the practice is as quick as can be. Water is available to them throughout the practice. If they need a drink of water, it's by them. Luckily we have 4 things that are mobile, so if they need a swig of water, they get a swig of water, that's it. You know, we don't have water breaks, so we're burning 10, 15 minutes. They're able to get water whenever they can, whenever they want. We never condition, okay? We've not had condition, we've never conditioned the kids at all. If you come to our practice and someone's doing something that looks like conditioning, they screwed up. They screwed up in the classroom, they screwed up in the locker room or something. The whole team's doing something that's running and it's not football, it's not running a football play, the whole team screwed up somehow. Somehow they disrespected the locker room, they disrespected their teammates somehow. But that's very, very rare, and I try to stay away from that. So, you know, one thing, you know, I have a bunch of coaches with kids that have also doubled up and went and coached Pop Warner. So they'll coach with us, you know, like, you know, our defensive coordinator, you know, did it for 7 years. Like you know, our practice, and as soon as he leave our practice, he'd go coach Pop Warner practice. And I went out there a few times and I'm doing bear crawls. I said, hey, why the hell are you all doing bear crawls? Like, I've never seen a bear crawl help anyone in football. And I think, you know, Larry did a good job of kind of getting rid of that stuff in Pop Warner down where we're at. But I just challenge you guys, like, don't do things like that, like the bear crawls and stuff like that, and just like trying to run those kids to death. Man, that just makes them not like football. To be honest with you, because they're probably sitting there going, damn, it'd be nice, a little bit funner to go play basketball or sit in the gym and shoot free throws or go out and field some ground balls instead of doing this bear crawl with this guy over here yelling at me like a madman, you know what I'm saying? So everything that we do is football related. Everything that we practice or whatever our O-line is practicing, it's all related to what we're going to run in the game. I wish my slide works, but oh, there we go. There's time wasters. There we go. Conditioning, bear crawls, and anything else that's not specifically related to football that will help you win on game day. Our practice plan, our practice script, like I said, pre-practice. These are the things that we're doing in pre-practice. DBs, hip mobility, just kind of all these things. It'll kind of look kind of unorganized because there's kind of kids everywhere kind of doing all a bunch of different things, and you really don't know what's going on, but they do know what's going on, and it's just pre-practice stuff. And then practice script, again, a dynamic stretch. And then you'll see team pass go, inside run, special teams, team, and at the end of the team we'll have a goal line, short yardage section as well. And again, less time equals more production, in my opinion. I think when it's all said and done, and when you add up the minutes, and you're talking about you're in week 15 of the football season, which is really just starting playoffs because it's kind of preseason stuff. You know, you look at our practice schedule and you take most other people's practice schedule, you're talking about hours upon hours that they have not been on the practice field compared to other teams. And I think that we're fresher in the playoffs. I think that we're in better shape, not because we're running them, but they're practicing harder. I just think it all pays off at the end of the day. The keys, in my opinion, you know, you have a plan, nothing but football. Again, if you're a head coach at one of these teams, at one of these levels, and you're looking around and your assistant coach is doing some crazy drill that has nothing to do with football, you probably need to say, hey, you know, let's let's practice something that has stuff to do with football, that's going to help us in the game. Shorter is better. Again, no downtime and no standing around. That's it. But again, I'm going to leave my cards out there. If you guys have any questions or ever want to come down and join us, whether it be at practice or game night or whatever it may be, if you have any questions on anything, I'm more willing to help or more willing to tell you what we do and how we do it. Does anybody have any questions right now? Yes, sir.
What's your career accolades you like to
You don't know? We run one back power, we run ISO, we run counter.
How you blocking backside at one back?
Check huddle, you know. Depends what the backside, it depends what the backside tackle's in, what we do. Yeah.
So is one back power, it's a wide trap, what's the third?
It was counter, ISO.
One back power.
One back power, yep. One back power, counter, ISO.
Man, stop scouting, man.
He just turned them on to the run. Any other questions? All right, I appreciate you guys again.
All right, what we do right now at this point of the clinic